Hare Krishna. We will continue with chapter 16, the chapter 16 of the Gita, the divine and the demoniac natures. So we heard in chapter 15, the beginning of chapter 15, we heard about the banyan tree. The banyan tree and how to get out of this tree by knowledge and detachment, that knowledge is required is the knowledge of Purushottam. Then we heard Purushottam Yoga, that and we heard the three aspects of Purushottam Yoga, the Sambandha Jnana. There are the living entities, liberated or conditioned, and there is Paramatma who controls everything, and above that, there is the Supreme Lord, who is above the fallible and infallible. Paramatma is his expansion. And if we know this, what do? We engage in devotional service. And that engagement in devotional service is the way to get out of this banyan tree and attain the supreme goal, Prayojan, going back to Godhead. Now in chapter 16, Lord Krishna will explain, if we develop divine qualities, we go up into the banyan tree closer to the root. And if we develop demonic mentality, we get demoniac bodies, and we go lower and lower in this tree. So to get out of it, we must develop divine qualities, 20 qualities that we will discuss. These 20 qualities, which are described in verse 1 to 3 of the 16th chapter. First, a summary. Chapter 15 describes the banyan tree of the material world, and the modes of material nature nourish both the upper auspicious and divine branches of the tree and the lower demoniac tree, and the lower demoniac branches. In the 16th chapter, Krishna first explains the divine qualities that elevate one on the tree and ultimately lead to liberation. Then the Lord explains in details the demoniac qualities and the mentality which drives one lower and lower on the tree and ultimately to hell. He explains also the advantages and disadvantages of each of these qualities. So now we will hear about the first 3 verses, but we first will read them. Verse 1 to 3. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Abhayam Yoga Pyavastit Abhayam Sattva Samsudaya Jnana Yoga Pyavastite Dana Dama Sajahyascha Svadhyayas Taparyavam Ahimsa Satyamakodas Jyaga Shantira Kod Jyaga Shantira Pashanam Daya Bhute Salodaptvam Martavam Rech Achapam Deaksamadati Tsotsam Adro Natimanita Bhavanti Sampadam Devim Abhijyatasya Bharatam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, or compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, study, determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy, from passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharat, belong to godly men, endowed with divine nature. Now we have this list of all these divine qualities. 26 divine qualities mentioned here. Yes, here we find them in English. That just make it a little bigger on the screen. And this problem here. Oh, you see only points.
Tomorrow we are getting that slide, right?
Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
We don't see the text. Ah, it comes here. Yeah, there. So these are all these 26 qualities which are mentioned in these three first verses. The divine qualities that Srila Prabhupada writes, in the 16th chapter, the Lord explains both the transcendental nature and its attendant qualities, and the demoniac nature and its qualities. He also explains the advantages and disadvantages of these qualities. So that further, Srila Prabhupada writes, the word Abhiyatasya refers to one born of transcendental qualities. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that, yes, before devotees conceive a child, they do the Garbhadan samskar. And by that, a soul is attracted with divine qualities. Srila Prabhupada writes, sex life is not condemned provided the process is used in Krishna consciousness. Those who are in Krishna consciousness at least should not beget children like cats and dogs, but should beget them so that they may become Krishna conscious after birth. That the qualities mentioned herein are explained as transcendental qualities meant for making a person progress in spiritual understanding so that he can get liberated from the material world. So the first qualities, abhaya, sattva, samstutir, jnana, yoga, vyavastiti. These are the qualities of those in the sannyas order. And this is Krishna's qualities for a sannyasi that he gives us. That I'm a member of the sannyas ministry and evaluating new sannyas candidates. And we look at these points. Abhaya, fearlessness. Abhaya, sattva, samsudhir. Is a person purified in heart? Does he everything to become purified in mind? And jnana yoga vyavastiti. Is he engaged in scriptural studies, cultivation of spiritual knowledge? These are important qualities for a sannyasi that Srila Prabhupada has explained it already in the 3rd chapter. One should not take to the sannyas order. unless one is free from material desires. Otherwise, it will be troublesome. So sannyasi, Srila Prabhupada writes, is supposed to be the head or the spiritual master of all other social statuses and orders. A Brahmin is considered to be the spiritual master of the three other sections of society, but namely Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudras. But the sannyasi, who is on the top of the institution, is considered the spiritual master of the Brahmins also. So a sannyasi, the first qualification should be fearlessness. It's mentioned here. That he has simply to depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So sannyasi, even if I live in the darkest regions of a forest, I shall be accompanied by Krishna, and he will give me protection. That conviction is called abhayam, fearlessness. This state of mind is necessary for a person in a renounced order of life. That's a high expected qualification. A sannyasi is strictly forbidden to talk with a woman in a secluded place. This stricture imposed on sannyasi not to have close connections with women. So this is not a sign of hatred for the women class. One has to follow the rules and regulations of a particular status of life in order to purify his existence. For sannyasi, intimate relationships with women and possessions of wealth for sense gratification are strictly forbidden. And then Srila Prabhupada quotes the story of Chota Haridas, who was glancing lustfully at a woman, although he was in the renounced order of life. Therefore, he was immediately rejected from the association of Lord Chaitanya. That's explained further in the purport. And then the next quality for sannyasi is jnana yoga vyavastiti. That cultivation of spiritual knowledge. A sannyasi is sannyas life is meant for distributing knowledge to the householders and others who have forgotten their real life of actual spiritual, their real life of spiritual advancement. That's the duty of a sannyasi. If he's actually advanced and so ordered by the spiritual master, he should preach Krishna consciousness with logic and understanding. And if some is not so advanced, he should not accept the renounced order of life. Sannyasi, or one who is in the renounced order of life, must be situated in fearlessness, sattva samsudhir, and jnana yoga, knowledge. And then the next qualities, which starts with dhanam, dhamma, sajahya, svatyas, tapa, arjavan. So dhanam, dhanam, sajahyasa. These are the qualities for the householders. Qualities to be developed by the householders. Charity is meant for the householders. Because householders many times are attached to possessions. And by learning to give, giving is a voluntary detachment of one's so-called possessions, although everything belongs to Krishna. So charity is meant for the householders. The householders should earn a livelihood by an honorable means and spend 50% of their income to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. And Srila Prabhupada quotes many times the example of Rupa Goswami, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, who distributed 50% of their wealth to the Brahmins, and then 25% for the mission, and 25% or something like that for emergency purposes. That Srila Prabhupada said how to give charity. Charity should be given only for propagating Krishna consciousness all over the world. That is charity in the mode of goodness. Then Dharma, self-controlled. Dharma is especially meant for the householders, it said. Although he has a wife, a householder should not use his senses for sex life unnecessarily. If he does not require children, he should not enjoy sex life with his wife. Modern society enjoys sex life with contraceptive methods or more abominable methods to avoid the responsibility of children. This is not in the transcendental quality, but is demoniac. Srila Prabhupada writes, if he's able to beget children who will be in Krishna consciousness, one can produce hundreds of children, but without the capacity, one should not indulge only for sense pleasure. These are important instructions here. Srila Prabhupada gives instructions for sannyasis, gives instructions for householders, and we will hear brahmacharis. We will hear more about that. And we will read quotes of Prabhupada who are very instructive on that matter. That was once a householder came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I'm a householder, what is my duty? What am I supposed to do? What is the relationship with my wife, he said. Srila Prabhupada said, you ask your wife to cook. And then after cooking, you ask her to offer it. When it's offered, you go outside. You call 3 times, prasad is ready. Everyone who wants to come, please take. And then you serve the guests, and after that, you take. Prabhupada, the devotee, said, I think you do not understand I want to know what's the relationship with my wife. Prabhupada said, you ask your wife to cook. And then after cooking, she offers to the deity. Then you go outside, you call 3 times. Everyone who is hungry, please come, and then serve them. And then you can take. But Prabhupada, I want to understand what's the relationship with my wife. I don't understand. And Srila Prabhupada repeated it 3rd time. So that's essential. The Shrestha life is meant to give charity for that. That is an essential point. That, of course, we can give charity by organizing Krishna conscious programs in our house, and feeding the people and preach. That's the best charity. That's what Srila Prabhupada says here, that the charity should be given only to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. And then sacrifice is another item performed by householders. But Srila Prabhupada said sacrifice, Vedic sacrifices, Homa sacrifice and Agnihotra sacrifice is very expensive. But the best sacrifice is the Sankirtan Jagya, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram. Everyone can adopt it and define and derive benefit. And then Prabhupada goes for the next verse, Svatyaya Stapa Arjavan. He says the Svatyaya, that's the Vedic study, that's for the brahmacharya, the student. The brahmacharyas should not have connection with women. They should live celibacy and engage their mind in Vedic literature for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. That's Svatyaya. And then tapas, that is meant for the vanaprasthas. So after Hyasta, the householder, one should retire. And Shilpad is very practical. If one lives for 100 years, then 25 years student life, 25 in householder life, 25 in retired house, and then 25 in renounced order. So without tapasya or austerity, no human being can get liberation. Very heavy. So another quality for the brahmachari is simplicity. But Srila Prabhupada said that is not only for the brahmacharya. So there's a principle to be followed by every member of each ashram. One should be very simple and straightforward. And then he gives ahimsa as a quality. Ahimsa, non-violence, is not arresting the progressive life of any living entity. And then Srila Prabhupada speaks about killing animals. You are hampering their progress because they have to take birth again, and because they have a certain years of imprisonment in a certain life, in a certain animal body, and then they have to go to another species higher. And it's hampering them. So, and Srila gives a warning. At any rate, when there is ample of food supply for humanity, persons who are desiring to make advancement in spiritual realization should not commit violence to animals. Ahimsa means not checking anyone's progress. Animals are also making progress in their evolutionary life by transmigrating from one category of animal to another, so their consciousness goes up, healthy, up again to the human life. So their progress should not be checked by simply because we want to taste their flesh. And then satyam, truthfulness. One should not distort the truth for personal interest. Then shruti means that one should hear from the authority. One should not construe some interpretation to the personal interest. Shruti, hear from authority, and follow, accepting that authority, not trying to give some interpretation. I want to interpret like that because then I can do that. An akrodha means to check anger. If there is a provocation, one should be tolerant, for once one becomes angry, his whole body becomes polluted. Anger is a product of the mode of passion and lust. So one who is transcendently situated should check himself from anger. That important instruction. And then we have Ri. Ri means that one should be very modest and must not perform some act which is abominable. Achapalam, determination, means that one should not be agitated or frustrated in some attempt. There may be failure in some attempt, but one should not be sorry for that. He should make progress with patience and determination. And then the word tejas means, tejas used here is meant for the kshatriya, power. The kshatriya should always be very strong and be able to give protection to the weak. That's a quality of the kshatriyas. And shaucham, cleanliness. Not only in mind and body, but in dealings also, in one's dealings with others. Interesting, Srila Prabhupada gives different definitions. that it's good to remember these definitions that help us to see it in the correct light in terms of spiritual advancement. Nati manita, not expecting honor, is for the Sudras. Nati manina, amanina manadina. Don't ask for honor for yourself, give all honors to others. As Srila Prabhupada said, otherwise, one acts as a Sudra. Interesting. They should not be puffed up with necessary prestige or honor. One should remain in one's own status. So this are 26 qualities mentioned, and they are all transcendental qualities. So now, this is one thing. These 26 qualities are there. I think I've also another screen. Just stop for a moment. Yes. Here I will show you that because that's interesting. These 26 qualities are divided here in 3 categories. You see here. So, the art of giving, the art of being, and the characteristics. Art of giving, merciful, compassionate, friendly, magnanimous, equal to all, truthful, perform welfare for others, respectful, giving. Art of being, humble, surrendered, desireless, fixed, control 6 bad qualities, grave, silent. And characteristics, clean, mild, without material possessions, peaceful, indifferent, eats only as much as required, without inebriety, without false prestige, poet, expert, and faultless. So this, but now let's see the book of quotes. Here we have one quote. It's just on the screen. Does someone wants to read this quote of Srila Prabhupada? It's from a Bhagavad Gita lecture of Srila Prabhupada on these verses. It's on the screen. I think you will be able to read it.
If no one, I can go again. Is it okay?
Thank you, Prabhu. Please do.
So it's from the first 3 qualities are for the Sannyasis, this one, right?
Yes.
Abhayam means fearlessness. As long as we are in the material body, there are 4 principles, out of which one is bhayam, fearlessness. What will happen? Because I am eternal, nahannate sharire. I don't want my body to be annihilated, but it will be. Therefore, I am always fearful. This is called bhayam. Bhayam ditya binibheshata, because I am identifying with this body, there is fearfulness. And if by knowledge you can understand that I am not this body, I am spirit soul, aham brahmasmi, and if we are actually convinced, then there is no fearfulness. In the Western countries, there is only one true philosopher, Socrates. He was condemned to death because he said that I am soul, I am eternal. So this is knowledge. This is Abhayam. He was going to be killed. He is fearless. But what is this nonsense? He will kill by body. That's all. So it requires very firm knowledge. Na hannate hannumane sharire. That is possible. That is possible by jnana. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, his demon father Hiranyakashipu was chastising him in so many ways, but he was not afraid at all, fearless, because he was convinced that I am not this body. I am different from this body. Na hannate hannumane sharire. I will not die. It is simply knowledge, firm knowledge. And as soon as you come to that position that I am not this body, then automatically you become abhayam, have no fear. There are many instances, just like Dhruva Maharaja. As a 5 years old boy, he went into the jungle. He was sitting alone there, abhayam, abhayam, with no fear. The more you become spiritually conscious, the highest stage of spiritual consciousness in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means I am Krishna's. That's all. Krishna says, Mamai Bangsham. All these living entities are my part and parcel. So you have to understand this relationship with Krishna, and you are Krishna's. And Krishna, what is Krishna? Bhagavan. Read purport Sattva Samshuddhi. This human life is meant for Sattva. Sattva means existing. We are existing. I am existing. You are existing. Thus, who are advanced in knowledge, their Sattva existence is cured of these disease of ignorance. Disease of ignorance. Disease of ignorance means I am this body. I am not this body. This is this purification of my existence is possible. It is simply jnana, knowledge. But I am in ignorance. Therefore, I am thinking I am this body. So it requires a little jnana, knowledge. Then we will understand that I am not this body.
Thank you, Bhagavan Hari Prabhu, for reading that. These are the qualities of a sannyasi, so explained by Srila Prabhupada very nicely. And so after hearing these divine qualities, Arjuna is a bit worried. He thinks, yeah, I want to kill my own relatives. I'm a demon. That's not very pure, he thinks. But Krishna will assure him that he's born of these divine qualities. We will hear now a description of the demoniac qualities hereafter. And we will hear about the understanding of the demons, the mentality of the demons, the goal of the demons, that all the psychology of the demons will be analyzed quite deep. And so we will first read text 4. We will now read from 4 to 9 in this lesson. 4. Dambo darpa vimanascha Odha payusamevacha Ahyanam sabhiyatasya Bhakta sampadam. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance, these qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. So this text 4, in this verse, The royal road to hell is described, Srila Prabhupada says. The demoniac want to make a show of religion and advancement in spiritual science, although they do not follow the principles. They desire to be worshipped by others. Over trifles, they become very angry and speak harshly, not gently. They do everything whimsically. They do not recognize any authority. So in the last sentence of the purport, these demoniac qualities are taken on by them from the beginning of their bodies in the wombs of their mothers. And as they grow, they manifest all these inauspicious qualities. That's interesting. So that is these demonic qualities. And in the last lines of previous purport, the divine qualities, Srila Prabhupada said, the purport is that even though our material conditions are miserable, if these qualities are developed by practice by all classes of men, then gradually it is possible to rise to the highest platform of transcendental realization. And that's a contrast here. We see of these qualities. We go back here to slideshow. So we heard about these 26 qualities, the qualities of each order, and also the qualities of generally the divine qualities of the devotees that are applicable to all. Now, this first fourth was the royal road to hell. Welcome to hell. Srila Prabhupada will also speak about that at the end. Lust, anger, and greed are the gates to hell. So all the part of material or spiritual advancement, the demoniac person simply makes a show of religion without accepting any authority or principles. They demand respectability without commanding respect. Thus they pave their road to hell. So that is the road to hell. So then the quotes this is a quote on form, but that's a bit too long. That's different pages. We will skip this quote. And we will go to the next verse. Daiva sampati moksaya nibandaya surimata achucha sampadam daivan abhijato sipandava. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. So Krishna is encouraging Arjuna here. He tells that you are not born with demoniac qualities, so don't worry. His involvement in the fight was not demoniac, because he was considering the pros and cons. Anyone who performs the regulative principles of the different orders of life is transcendentally situated. Srila Prabhupada concludes, and that was what Arjuna was doing. So now we have a quote on 4, I think. No, 4. It's on 5, and we have just read 5. So someone wants to read this small quote of 5. Sampati means
Okay, Haribol, Hare Krishna. I'll
Please.
read.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good.
thank you. Okay. Okay. Sampati means that you possess under your control. There are two kinds of sampati, divine sampati and demonic sampati. They are open before you. Now you take up whatever you like. It is up to you. It is not forbidden, and Daivi Sampati is meant for one class of men, and Asuri Sampati is meant for another class of men. Krishna is open to everyone. Krishna is not monopolized by a certain class of men. Don't think that Krishna is Indian, Krishna is Hindu, Kshatriya. Therefore, he is meant for others. No, because he is the supreme personality of Godhead, he is everyone's property. If you develop your Daivi Sampat, then you become fit for Vimoksaya, for liberation. What is that liberation? Liberation means coming to the platform of real knowledge. Mukti means hitva, giving up something. Hitva anyata rupam, I am spirit soul. Liberation means jnana mrityu jara yadhi, liberation from these four things: no more birth, no more death, no more disease, no more old age. So people are unaware and they are not interested.
Mhm.
Okay,
So
that was lecture. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's our choice to go for the Devi Sambat, to the path of liberation of Krishna consciousness. That or to go for the path for hell. Krishna is open to everyone. It's up to us. Says that he's equal to everyone. That there's a sixth. These are very long quotes. 8 also very long quote. We cannot end. Read
Maharaj, I have a
9.
question.
Yes,
I have
please.
a question on that purpose. I'm sorry for interruption. So say one person, he is not in completely the Vaidhi Bhakti, or he's a devotee. Everybody is a devotee somehow, in some extent. But some people are not following the Vaidhi Bhakti, but they have sampatti also. Now, if we take their sampatti, we take the donation from them, and we use it for Krishna consciousness, printing books, or feeding the Vaishnavas and doing rituals and building the temples. So is it right things we can do it? Because the money they are earning, they even telling, okay, you don't eat from us if we cook, but you take our money and you use it. So what type of selfish you are? So they can tell us like that. So what is the answer for that?
Say that last time again. You are
Last part is like, okay, they said you're not associating with us, like means if we cook, you're not eating from us.
Yeah.
You get, but if we give you money, you take it. So what is the answer for that?
Yeah, if we take their money, we give it back to the proprietor of the money. Krishna is the source of everything. We give it to the right person in his service. And by that, they will benefit immensely, spiritually. They will become purified by it. So that's the proper thing to do. That, but we can take form, and we want to give to them. That, but we cannot take from them, which is their sinful activities, their sinful consciousness. We cannot take. We cannot take their association. We can take their money, but not their association. We can give our association, but not take their association. But that we cannot tell them. They cannot understand it. They will.
Yeah, that's
They
the
will.
thing. They don't understand that.
They will become angry. That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have to be a little diplomatic sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. Like they saying, you don't like they doing some kind of bhajan which is not not Lochandas or Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They're doing some other person's bhajan. So if we don't go along with them, they say they are also Vaishnava, but they cannot say what is their disciplic succession. They said they are Vaishnava. Long time they are Vaishnava. In India, there is so many Vaishnava, not only like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. There are some other Vaishnava also. So, but they don't have no proper documentation for how they comes from Krishna. So
Yeah,
this we face.
yeah, that's true. Of course, with the other sampradayas, in generally the four sampradayas, which the Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Lakshmi Sampradaya, and our Sampradaya, these are the four bona fide sampradayas. So we can have an exchange with them. That's okay. But many pretend to be Vaishnavas and are not following the principles, the four principles, and then it becomes a problem. Then it becomes really a problem. But otherwise, with the other sampradayas, we can have friendly exchange. But normally we don't hear their lectures and so on because they have other goals. That
Because in the kirtana, sometimes they cry, they hug each other, and they fall down on the floor, and things happen. They're saying, okay, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu time, some of the devotee got Ashtashatik Bikar. So what I understand, we don't have no Vaidhi Bhakti at all. How the person get the Ashtashatik Bikar? Yeah, this is the.
yes. Therefore, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj rejected all these apasampradayas. Apasampradayas, because they are deviations from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And therefore we avoid their association.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. Sorry for that. Bringing here.
No, thank you. Good, then we go to the next verse. Let's see.
The hair is so dark, so it's visible.
So, next verse.
Oh, whoa, Dimyangi showing skin.
Mataji, you are on mute. You are on mute.
I'm muted her. That's good. No problem. So we were reading text 5 and now text 6. So here Krishna says something similar to which he said before. Tva Bhuta Saralokesmin, like two kinds of beings. Deva Shura Ivasham. Devo Vistarasa Prokta Ashuram Partha Meshvino. So there are two kinds of living entities, demoniac and divine. Before it was fallible and infallible. Here's demoniac and divine. O son of Pritha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me the demoniac. That's text 6. So those who are born with divine qualities, they follow regulated life. And they follow the scriptures and authorities. And Krishna will make that at the end, the point at the end of this chapter. He will say, that's the difference between the demoniac and the divine. He will say, the divine, they are following the conclusions of the scriptures. And the demoniac, they are acting whimsically. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada writes, one who does not follow the regulative principle, this regulative principle, we are 6 here, one who does not follow the regulative principles as they are laid down in the scriptures and who acts according to his whims is called demoniac or asuric. So one class obeys to the Vedic injunctions, and the other does not. So there are clearly two camps, and they are unambiguously defined here. These two camps in then 7. Pavritim sha nivittam cha Janana vidu asura, na chasham napi na charo, na satyam te suvidyate. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So these are a number of qualities, characteristics from the demoniac that they are those who are, so by definition here, Krishna's definition, those who are not following the scriptures, demons. That's what Krishna says. They have no faith in the Vedic literature, and they are not clean, not externally and internally. And Krishna and Srila Prabhupada advises in the purport, you should always be careful to keep your body clean by bathing. So internally clean by chanting the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So the demons have now neglected such injunctions, and they think that women should be given as much freedom as men. However, this has not improved the social condition of the world. Actually, a woman should be given protection at every stage of life. She should be given protection by the father in her younger days, by the husband in her youth, and by the grown-up sons in her old age. The social condition of women today is not very good. The social condition of demonic people is very miserable, Srila Prabhupada writes. So yes, cleanliness is stressed here. Truthfulness, and then Krishna, Srila Prabhupada speaks about women issues. That different points to consider theologically, women issues that for our preaching, they need to be clean and truthful. That very important points. Let's see in here we have heard we are verse 7 already. Verse 5, so Lord Krishna encourages Arjuna by telling him that he was not born with demoniac qualities. Verse 6, we had the divine lead regulated life by following scriptural injunction and authorities, whereas the demoniac act whimsically without regard of the scripture. And now verse 8, we will now reach verse 8. And verse 8, here. Asatyam apatishtam te jagata or anishparam aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat kam hai to come. They say that the world is unreal with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So the demoniac Srila Prabhupada writes, conclude, the world is phantasmagoria. There is no cause and effect, no controller, no purpose. They say that this cosmic manifestation arises due to chance, material actions and reactions. They do not think that the world was created by God for a certain purpose. For them, there is no difference between spirit and matter, and they do not accept the Supreme Spirit. Everything is matter only. But factually, although the demons say that life is a dream, they are very expert in enjoying this dream. And instead of acquiring knowledge, they become more and more complicated in the dreamland. For them, it's only a combination of matter that has produced the living entities. And there's no question of existence of God. They do not believe the words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Maya direction, under my direction, the whole world is moving. In other words, the demons, they don't have perfect knowledge of the creation of the world. Every one of them has some particular theory on its own. According to them, one interpretation of the scriptures is as good as another. They do not believe in standard understanding of scriptural injunctions. So there are certainly many ideologies in this world who say there is no God in control. Even so-called religions where there is no God in control. That's amazing.
Yes. Maharaj,
yeah.
Actually I asked too many questions today. I know it's very annoying for maybe annoying for others. I'm not sure. But the things like I heard something, but I was not clear. Prabhupada said about they went to moon, and Prabhupada said they didn't go to moon or something like that. Do you have short description about that? What Prabhupada's ideology for them? Just to understand.
Yeah, that I heard Prahlad Nanamraj speaking about that, about Srila Prabhupada and the moon. And he said Prabhupada was not interested whether they went to the moon or not. That sometimes he said maybe they went to Rahu or whatever. But the point is, we have to get out of this material world. That whether they went to the moon or not, that will not change the point that we are a spirit soul and that we are engaged in this material world and we have to get out. So that is not an essential knowledge. He said different things, Srila Prabhupada, as long as it facilitates his preaching. But whether they went to the moon or not, I've also no idea, but it's a fact. Since more than 50 years they didn't go back. Did they really go there? I'm not sure. But anyway, what does it matter? That is not so important in that. But of course, some have more faith in the so-called science. But the science proves, the so-called science proves to change. But what do they see through their material eyes? We don't know that. But anyway, that's
thank you.
a side issue. Thank you. So we go back to our here, verse 8. The demons assert that the cosmic manifestation arises by chance, by saying that there is no God in control and that the living entities are produced simply by combination of matter, and that sex desires keeps everything going. That so yeah, you have the Big Bang theory. Everything comes from the Big Bang. But even if the Big Bang is there, where does the Big Bang come from? Why does that happen? That from nothing came the Big Bang. That so it's all.
Yes, that's what they said always.
Yeah, theories.
Nothing.
One theory after another. But there is clearly a deep intelligence behind all this creation. And that intelligence is Krishna's intelligence. That we are not on the level that we can understand that. We don't have the brain for that. And, good text 9. Last verse of today. Etam dristim avastabhya nastatmanalpabudaya vabhavant yuga karmana ksayo charato ita. Following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engaged in unbeneficial work to destroy the world. Ugra karma, that horrible, all these industries. I'm since a few days in Montreal, and yesterday we went for a program in Quebec City. We were driving from Montreal up to Quebec City, and then at the St. Lawrence River, you see all these chemical industries, all these Ugra karmites. And it was for kilometers, miles and miles, this Ugra karma, all these factories, horrible, that Ugra karma, all for sentient enjoyment. Shilpapa writes, such materialistic inventions are considered to be advancement of human civilization, but the result is that people grow more and more violent and more cruel to animals, cruel to human beings. Indirectly, this verse anticipates the invention of nuclear weapons, of which the whole world today is very proud. At every moment, war may take place, and these atomic weapons may create havoc. It's very actual today. Such things are created solely for the destruction of the world, and this is indicated here. Due to godlessness, such weapons are invented in human society. They are not meant for the peace and prosperity of the world. Certainly not. That's here. Modern civilization led by the demons is being led to destruction. That so let's see. I think we have quote on 9. The last quote, I will read it for you. So Krishna says about this blind vision, Etam dristim avastabhya, accepting these are the basic principles of this material creation, nasta atmanaha. They have lost their spiritual consciousness. Nasta means lost. Atmana means soul, the super soul. So Atma, Paramatma. The soul is Paramatma and we are soul. They have no knowledge. They manufacture so many demonic ideas, but the real idea has been forgotten. The real idea is God is great, I'm small, therefore I'm the eternal servant of God. This is a simple thing. Nasta means lost. Just like you lose your intelligence, you will talk nonsense. Nastatmana. There is no God means Nastatmana. He's not very intelligent. He has lost his intelligence. Nastatmana. Why Nastatmana? Alpa Buddhaya. The intelligence is not very sharp. Alpo. Poor fund of knowledge. On account of poor knowledge, they think there is no God, I'm God. So if you ask them, what is the aim of your life? What will they say? They say sense gratification. I shall earn money, eat nicely, drink nicely, enjoy nicely. That is the aim of life. They do not know. Etandristima vastabhya. Their vision is so polluted. Nastatmana. They have lost their spiritual ID, spiritual sense, or Krishna consciousness. The highest principle of spiritual sense means Krishna consciousness. To understand God, that Mahatma, Bhagavad Gita 7:19, they are Duratma. So, becoming Krishna consciousness, everyone's life is baffled. He's a demon. The demons are trying to adjust things like things materially, which is impossible. So they are busy, prabhavanti, flourishing. Prabhavanti means flourishing. Ugra karma. So that brings up, Srila Prabhupada in the purpose speaks about nuclear power. Today we can speak about global warming, so many things, pollution. It has no end.
Maharaj, in chapter 9, also there is this 3 types of person, also devotee, but they are not high standard quality. The one is who thinking Aham Brahmasmi. The other one, the last one says who thinking Krishna as a Virat Rupa, like universal.
Yeah.
And one more. So they are also devotee, but the lowest one is the who thinking Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, right?
Yeah. Brahmasmi, he thinks that
Himself is Krishna, and they worship themselves.
And they worship themselves. That these are the lowest, but at least they have a spiritual perspective. That's the beginning.
Okay, yeah.
So they are coming
That's
out
it.
of these demoniac ideas, although the idea to merge with Krishna and become Krishna is demoniac. but okay, it's going in the right direction. They have already a spiritual perspective. It's like stages before coming to spiritual understanding and spiritual life. That Prabhupada mentioned that these 3 stages there. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, thank you.
No, I wanted to show one more thing, and I will share that with you. What we are doing in this chapter here further is analyzing the nature of the demon. So we will see. We discussed the nature already, some aspects. They know now what to do, what not to do. Don't follow Shastra, unclean, improper behavior, untruthful, self-centered. And now we will hear next time about their mentality, their philosophy, and their actions and their results. These 4 we will discuss, hopefully, tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. and finish this chapter on the divine and the demoniac. Thank you very much. Any further question?
Thank you.
Okay, then we will end the class here, and I'm looking forward to see you online again tomorrow, 7 p.m. Thank you. Hare
7 p.m. EST. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Maharaj.